Alright, so we started strip tilling here. We finished harvest the other day. We're putting on dry fertilizer and Nh3 tank over there. Just filling up right now. Yeah, Kuhn Krause Gladiator. Just filled with fertilizer here using this tender from our local co-op. Pretty nice tender, simple to run. I mean, everything's pretty self-explanatory. Take a look kind of over here what we're doing, what kind of job we're doing. So we're putting on Nh3 and dry all in the same strip. We're banding it. You can kind of see the strips in the video here, but here's the strip. You can kind of see a berm. It ain't very clean, but we kind of keep it a little dirtier so that they don't wash. We've had it before, if they're really really black, they'll wash throughout the winter, but we'll come here back here in the spring and freshen it up, clean it up, put down a little more fertility. So pretty simple strip, banding all the fertility right there, and then the corn planter will plant right on that strip and have a really nice seed bed for the corn to grow in, and then all the fertility will be right there in the root zone. Hopefully the wind isn't too bad. So anyhow, that's what we do. We've been doing that for a few years. Seems to work pretty good. Makes your fertilizer usage a little bit more efficient. And we haven't, but you could if you wanted to use a little less fertilizer. We've been trying to build our soils up. This has been a good way to do it. Climb up here and show you what it looks like inside the tank. So we just filled here. Usually about 10,000 pounds we can fit in here. And in this fertilizer mix, we got about, we're putting on about, it'll be a total spring and fall 350 pounds an acre, but we've got potassium, phosphorus, zinc, boron, copper, iron. I think I got them all. Sulfur. They're all in, all those nutrients are in that band. And that'll be all right there as food for the corn and for the beans next year. This is the Nh3 cooler. It comes back out of the tanks and through these lines, goes through this cooler, gets turned into liquid and out to the rows. And each one of these gauges here gives you a pressure on how much is going to each row, so that you know every single row is exactly equal. Alright, so we're gonna get this tank here hooked up, strip till rig, and we'll keep going. best. We've done it before where it was necessary, where we didn't get fall tillage done, and it works out okay. But the strip till is kind of a mixture of both. You kind of get the best of both worlds. You leave your root structure intact, and you get a nice black spot to plant that dries out, and you get a really clean seed trench. And the fertility is placed right in a band, right underneath the plants. So it gives the corn or the soybean plant the ability to be a lot more efficient with the fertilizer. So what a lot of people will do is they're strip tilling, they might put on 30 or 40% less fertilizer than what they would if they were broadcasting it, and see little or see no yield reduction from that. What we've actually been doing, we've done this here now for 7 or 8 years. We've been putting on same rate of fertilizer as we would if we'd have broadcast, but we've noticed in taking soil samples that our soil levels have actually gone up rather than just staying the same. So that tells me that the plant has all those nutrients right there, doesn't have to go out and find them, and it's just being more efficient, and therefore the soil is building to a more productive level. So that's why we do it. I don't know. I like it. Makes the field look pretty when you're done. It's just a beautiful place to plant, but you'll see that next spring when we get in the field with the planter. Alright, here we go. Putting on dry fertilizer and anhydrous. Making some nice springs for next year to plant into, hopefully. I don't know how well you can see that, but camera so we can see the anhydrous tanks behind the dry tank. So what we're doing here is we're running both of these products, the dry blend and the anhydrous, on a prescription. You can kind of see there the different rates in the prescription. Those are all based off of yield and what the removal that was taken off of this field from the soybeans this year. So we're basically replacing the nutrients that the grain from the soybeans that we harvested earlier this year in this field removed from the soil. And then this monitor here, there's a controller back on the machine that they control the rates as we're going across the field. So these numbers will change as we get into a different zone. And this here is just a scale that says how much is in that dry tank. Helps me calibrate it and keep it running accurately, I guess, applying accurately. Anyhow, we're just stripping away